Australian Karting Championship. All of the nation's top drivers here to do battle in this afternoon's action, and Sean Henshelwood caught up with a number of them.
At the moment, we're stuck behind a few people, but once we get past them, I'm pretty sure we can stick with Regan and Adam.
Who do you think is going to be your biggest threat?
Probably Regan Payne. He's about 2/10 faster in qualifying, but I'm sure we can make that gap up in racing. We've been looking after our tyres pretty well.
Okay, let's take a look at the starting grid now for the final in Junior Intercontinental A and the Great Field 2. Payne will start on pole position. Jeffrey Grant on the outside of him. Andre Morgan, Adam Graham, then Max de Merrick rounding out the top 5. And all of those drivers have a genuine chance for outright victory. Gurr, Wimmer, Saville, Woolston, and of course Taz Douglas will be the 10th man on the grid in what is a very good field. Good weather conditions here at Willowbank Raceway in Queensland. We're set for a start now in Junior Intercontinental A. And we get them underway. Let's see how the first corner works out. It does resemble the charge of the Light Brigade as they race through the first left-hander, then quickly whip through the right-hander. And everyone manages to stay out of harm's way. It would seem as though the quick man away was Andre Morgan, the driver of kart number 44. And also very quickly away was Adam Graham, who tacks on in second place, driving machine number 66. I'm joined once again in commentary for the second round of the WINZ Australian Karting Championship by Ian Salvestrin. He's the editor of Kart Oz magazine and, of course, one of the nation's top drivers as well. G'day, Ian.
Thanks, David. Yeah, it looks as though Andre Morgan's got a great start from the second row of the grid. There he is leading Adam Graham down the back straight for the first of 20 laps for this Junior Intercontinental A final.
Conditions perfect. I've mentioned a couple of times the sun shining. The racetrack would be up to a very reasonable working temperature in terms of tyres. And with this racetrack, 1,100 metres, there's a big challenge for the lead. And it's one of those circuits that does provide drivers with a bit of everything.
Yeah, it does. It's a very physical circuit. It takes a lot of skill to set the kart up correctly. You need a lot of horsepower. And it's probably one of the hardest circuits in Australia on driver fitness. These young children, after the end of this race, that's all they are. They're only 13, 14 and 15. At the end of this race, they're going to be absolutely exhausted. But right now, Andre Morgan's not going to be thinking about that as he leads Adam Graham. It looks like Regan Payne, the other Queenslander, in third place.
Indeed it is. In the PCR entry, the Queenslander, Regan Payne, driver of 122. That is the man to which we refer, running in third. He got a little out of shape, but then gathered it in again very quickly. And there's a fair bit of space between he and the man back in fourth place, so Payne can now start to concentrate on chasing the leading two. And speaking of the leading two, there has been a change in lead as Adam Graham now takes the ascendancy.
Adam Graham, he's the Oceania champion after winning that title at Eastern Creek back in January of this year. Slipped through into first place on Morgan, number 44, who's in second place, and Regan Payne bearing down on both of them. And have a look now, he goes up the inside of Morgan, and Payne moves into second place.
That was a nice move. He summed it up to a nicety, and the other driver left the door open.
Bit of a job now to catch Adam Graham, who's pulled out a bit of a lead, but Regan Payne, who's come from absolutely nowhere after his stunning performance at the Oceania Championships earlier in the year, and he is really the man on the move, and it'll be very hard to hold back. Adam Graham's got a good lead, but Payne's got him in his sights and pulling him in.
Ian, as is the case in all rounds of this WINZ National Championship, a vast variety, if you like, of chassis manufacturers involved in the action, ranging from Top Kart to CRG, to name just some.
Yep, that's right. We're looking at a couple now. That's Wade Cunningham, the champion. He's making the trip over to Australia for every round in the CRG kart. Jeffrey Grant also in a CRG. Of course, he won that sensational first round at Adelaide, came from behind and took the win there, and he's sitting in about 4th or 5th spot at the moment. A big freight train with Max de Merrick, the Adelaide driver, just copping a bit of a touch there from James Gurr in the Cosmic Kart, and Daniel Elliott in the WINZ machine back behind them.
This Willowbank venue in Queensland forms part of a very large motorsport complex, so certainly fans of motor racing in this region are very well catered for.
Yeah, of course, there's the drag strip next door, which hosts the Winter Nationals every year. We've got the motocross circuit behind, and of course, the brand new Queensland Raceway, which will host 2 V8 supercar events later in the year.
You just caught a glimpse of James Gurr. There he is in 28, and he's at the sharp end of a fairly ferocious battle. About 6 drivers tacking on behind him, running in Indian file. All drivers here have done a pretty good job despite the closeness of the racing. They've been leaning on each other, jumping over the curbs as well. They haven't had any problems at this stage, which really reflects their ability. There's a driver.
It looked like Jeffrey Grant retiring.
And he had some problems too. The head was slouched over the top of the steering wheel.
Well, that's a devastating blow for Grant. Of course, he took the championship lead into this first round. After winning in Adelaide, he's out of the race. He'll get no points from this weekend from the final.
Down the straight, and you can see there Kel Tressida tucking down behind the front fairing, trying to gain an aerodynamic advantage. They're starting to spread out a fair bit now. If you may have just joined our telecast, you're watching the final of Junior Intercontinental A in the second round of the 4-round Wins Australian Karting Championship for 1999. And again, the youngsters here in this category turning it on and providing good, close, hard racing. It's a wonderful environment for them to learn racecraft for their future endeavours in motorsport.
Yeah, exactly right, David. These kids have got absolutely no fear at all. I mean, we're quite a way into this race now. The kids have been racing all weekend. They'll be absolutely exhausted, but they're not thinking about that. They're still going absolutely hard at it. And they're copping a real hammering around here physically, just concentrating on the race, as we see Glenn Saville closing on the Adelaide driver, Max Demerick.
This circuit a bit bigger in terms of its length than we saw at Bolivar Raceway in South Australia with the opening round. Glenn Saville, he's a second-generation driver. Ian Saville is his father, former Speedway midget champion, and he also operates his own karting business just south of Sydney. So obviously the youngsters being set up with some fairly good equipment in this case. The racing out there is certainly on in earnest. Yeah. No quarter asked or given from these drivers. Yeah,
look at this freight train Ricky off of Pinty there, as it looks as though, is that Max Demerick who's gone off and rejoined? Just caught a glimpse of him there. It looks as though that freight train's finally come unstuck. As we look at Saville and Okapini down the inside.
There's the official website on screen. Sorry, Ian, there's the official website. If you'd like to tap in to obtain the information relating to this series nationally, and I can tell you it is a very good website too.
So look at Okapinti, who's gone through at the end of the main straight. Meanwhile, out front, it's Adam Graham, the Tony Kart driver, who's going to be off to Paris in a couple of weeks' time to compete in the European Junior Championships. One of 90 drivers, the only Australian competing in that event, and he takes the Oceania win with him behind him as part of his repertoire, and he'll be hoping in just a few laps' time that he can also add the Queensland Championship to his list of achievements as well.
The majority of the top runners in this event have their karts shod with Bridgestone rubber, although there are some Dunlop runners too.
Yes, that's right, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Regan Payne's one of them. He's on Dunlop tyres and up there in second place, so there's really nothing between it this weekend. Of course, he's driving as the PCR team junior driver. You can see the distance there, it's about 30 or 40 metres. Back in third place, we look to kart number 44. That's Andre Morgan, the Victorian, in only his second junior inter-race.
That kart, a Swiss Hutless, one of the more interesting chassis in karting. He'd be a bit disappointed with that, Ian, because he did get a very good start and was up competing for the lead for the opening few laps, and he's slipped back a fair way now. Would you just put that down to inexperience?
Yeah, it is only his second race. He did get a great start from the second row of the grid. He did finish third in the pre-final, which was a great achievement. Adam Graham, though, was always going to be hard to beat, and he's pulled out a gap on even Regan Payne in second place.
The next round of this championship series, round 3, will be staged at Geelong in Victoria on August 15th, and then the finale to be staged at the brand new Eastern Creek International Karting Raceway in Sydney. Wonderful concept and great experience for these drivers.
Yes, exactly. After this round, the championship's going to be wide open, of course. The two favourites for the series going into the first round at Adelaide was Adam Graham and Daniel Elliott, and they didn't score any points after crashing out. Regan Payne with second place. He's going to look as though he's got the championship lead if he can hold on to second. Andre Morgan's backed it off a bit, but out front looks as though no one's going to catch Adam Graham.
Well, you're right, no one will catch Adam Graham because he's well and truly inside his last racing lap now of this 1,100-metre circuit. Then a big performance, had to fight hard for the lead early on, but once he gained the ascendancy, frankly drove away from there and asserted his superiority. That's the man on screen that I'm talking about, and he certainly is going to emerge the victor in the second round of the Wins National Championship in Junior Intercontinental A. And that's a comprehensive victory that will do his confidence a world of good in preparation for the next round in Geelong. There's the results for you. Graham, Regan Payne, then Morgan. Big gap back to James Gerb and Daniel Elliott. The top 5 runners for you, followed by Cunningham, Tressida, Redmond, Okapinti and Glenn Saville, rounding out the top 10